Listen carefully, because right now, your family's wealth is under attack from all sides, and if this hits close to home, it's because it's personal. The global tax laws? They're not just boring rules on paper, they're powerful, merciless forces that can dismantle everything your family office has built, brick by brick. The pain? Watching your legacy shrink year after year. Millions slipping through fingers not because of bad investments, but because of invisible tax snares, changing laws, hidden traps spread across borders you thought you mastered. The frustration, feeling like you're trapped in a game designed to break you. You strategize, try to protect, and yet, every new international rule feels like a new wall in a labyrinth with no exit. Anger grows when you realize the system is rigged not just for you, but for every founder, investor, and leader who dares to hold more than their fair share of power and wealth. Make no mistake, the battlefield is global. You cannot just bury your wealth in one jurisdiction and expect peace. Countries are scrambling, allies are turning into adversaries, and tax laws change overnight, blindside style. Suddenly, what was a safe haven becomes a minefield. You feel powerless because, honestly, so few talk about the brutal realities. And the ones who do, they sell vague advice and cookie-cutter solutions. But you are not cookie-cutter. Your wealth is not standard. It's a living, breathing, complex matter, threaded through generations, cultures, businesses, and emotions. Family offices like yours cannot survive on generic roadmaps. You need a guerrilla playbook, forged in the heat of this chaotic war. Here's the raw truth. Global tax laws amplify complexity, multiply risk, and weaponize ignorance. If your family office isn't obsessed with understanding every country's shifting rules, how they could jointly trap your wealth, you're running blind. Offshore trusts? Fragile. Foundations? Under scrutiny. Cross-border inheritances? A nightmare of double taxing, reporting demands, and hidden penalties. The real predators are the gaps and overlaps between jurisdictions, the loopholes that close overnight, and the new treaties that upend decades of planning. What's worse, these laws punish complacency brutally. No more set and forget. Your compliance systems, your legal teams, your accountants, if they're not hyper-specialized on international tax coordination, they're costing you more than they're saving. Now listen close. This is where many family offices stumble, paralyzed by the tsunami of information and choices. They cling to old trusted methods, hoping for stability. But the world's moved past that. Stability doesn't exist anymore. Only agility, intelligence, and ruthless determination keep wealth alive. So here's the call to action, and it must hit like a thunderbolt. Obsess not over any single country's tax law. Obsess over the matrix they create together. Build a global tax strategy that sees the network, the connections, the domino chains. Your family office must become a command center for global tax intelligence that moves faster than governments rewrite rules. You must hunt, not hide. Step 1, right now. Dismantle any false loyalty to jurisdictions based on tradition or comfort. Every rule, every benefit, every risk must be reviewed under the brutal light of what now really matters. How that law works with every other law globally. Ask yourself, does your setup make you a sitting duck in the evolving global tax ecosystem, or a ghost who disappears wherever the taxman reaches? You don't get a second chance here. Rejection of static thinking is non-negotiable. Step 2. Break your family's wealth into functions, not forms. Don't think of your wealth as one big lump trapped in legal documents. Think of it as a network of movable parts. Assets, cash flows, intellectual property, investment vehicles, each placed where it creates the maximum shield and leverage, considering not only tax but political risk, confidentiality, and future evolution. This is precision engineering of wealth, with global tax law as the raw material, bending it to your will, not the other way around. Step 3 demands ruthless partnership. You need a global squad, not just lawyers and accountants, but thinkers who breathe tax intelligence, who challenge every rule's edge, who anticipate moves 12 months ahead. This is not about hiring one superstar. This is about building a tight-knit task force that lives and breathes your family's vision and fights for it like warriors. Your family office will be the general who commands the battlefield of tax, using information like ammunition and speed like armor. Without this, you are exposed, and you know it. Next, embrace technology not as a tool, but as an extension of your mind and muscle in this war. Automated compliance, AI-powered global tax tracking, cross-jurisdictional analytics. These aren't luxuries. They are weapons in your arsenal, and the difference between bleeding millions unnoticed and steering your ship through the storm. The family offices that win invest heavily in cutting-edge systems before disaster hits and keep them adaptive. If your tech is outdated, it's not just inefficient, it's a liability. Then, here's what almost no one tells you. Consider your family's citizenship and residency not as fixed points of identity, but as strategic levers. There are new global mobility strategies that defy traditional tax residence definitions. Transcend nationalism, knowing that the power to choose where and how you belong, where you pay taxes, where you hold passports, dramatically shifts the game. Think beyond the obvious. Understand these moves intimately, because when your family office can flex across borders fluidly, the taxman's chains become weaker. Finally, plan for the inevitable. Transparency. The world demands it. You cannot hide forever and shouldn't want to. Instead, master the art of building legitimate, transparent structures optimized fully to law, but designed with future-proofing and layered protections that make your wealth both visible and untouchable. Fight fire with fire. Leverage international cooperation mechanisms to your advantage, not as enemies. This means early disclosure, smart treaty shopping, and controlling how, where, and when information flows. You want authorities satisfied, so they leave you alone, and you want your family secure. Now imagine how different your family's future feels when you don't just react to tax law hysteria, but control the narrative. When your family office isn't just a static vault, but a living organism, nimble, intelligent, unstoppable. When every dollar, every investment, every inheritance flows through a web engineered to fascinate tax lawyers, but frustrate tax collectors. This is the world you must build. Not off-the-rack advice, not outdated legacy thinking. A global family office operating with laser focus on tax law challenges, transcending borders, rewriting the rules, and resetting power dynamics. You, and only you, hold the key to this transformation. So stop accepting illusions of control. Demand absolute mastery. Win before the fight even begins. Because in this brutal modern reality, your sovereignty, the survival and growth of your family's wealth, depends on it. Commit fully to this war. Win it relentlessly. And watch through generations as your family's power becomes unbreakable.